NFC 149, Battle of the Brewery. My next guest is going to find himself in a flyweight war. The action goes down later on this week, September 23rd in Atlanta, Georgia. If you are in Atlanta, you need to be at this fight. If you're not in Atlanta, don't worry. We got your back. There will be a pay-per-view link for it. And the guy that I'm interviewing today is going to be fighting in that event. Battle of the Davids. My David, though, is David Baby Hulk Wilson. David, thank you so much for being here, my man. It's been a long time since I've seen you, and you're looking fresh in that shirt, man. It fits you. It just fits you.
Man, it just feels right, man. It feels right. It's cozy. It's warm. Appreciate it,
dude. Well, my pleasure. It's always an honor to drip you out, and I want to just kind of catch up with you. It's been about a year since I last talked to you, and you're a big old bad pro now. You left the AMI scene, and I got to tell you, when you made your professional debut in February of this year, of 2022, I kind of wanted to pause, and I don't even necessarily want to talk about that fight right away, but that was such an achievement. Not only does the guy, the YouTube fighter, right, the guy that fought in the dirt, not only did he go legit and start fighting on the AMI scene, and I'm sure you got a lot of shit about that, people saying oh, you're going to get your ass whipped as an amateur. You didn't. You dropped one fight as an amateur. You did phenomenal. And then it's the next part, this guy will never go pro. And then bam, you did that. You go pro, and we're getting ready for our third fight. So it's when you sit back and you think about your past from being the street fighter to now being a professional fighter, does it kind of make you smile in a way where it's man, everyone keeps saying I can't do all this stuff. I've been doubted from the beginning, and here I am. I'm just out here crushing it.
It feels good, definitely, but it's to be expected, man. When I started out, I was never be street beefs or backyard fighting was going to be the end goal. It was always a tool to get to the next level, in between my AMI fights, getting experience, getting a little bit more notoriety and fans. But I always expected to be a pro. I expect to be a champ in a major organization. So it feels good, 2 years to kind of see the progress and what I achieve. But man, it's little things. We got way bigger things to come.
And you're still so young. You're not even 30 years old yet. You're not even in your athletic prime yet. That's what's so exciting about you, because you're actually, and I know we talked about this the last time we were on the show, you're actually a very technical wrestler. There's really no real brawling kind of features about you, in my opinion. I don't want to give away all your secrets, though, but I'll just say I know you well enough to say that your jiu-jitsu, it's very good. Your top control, very, very good. Your takedowns, very, very good. You're very, very technical. You're not this stereotypical Jorge Masvidal type. And I think people kind of expect that from you. And the more they were to watch your fights, I don't see that. I think you have way more in common with technical wrestlers at the highest levels than you do a brawler type, if you will.
I really much appreciate it. I hang my hat on my grappling. My jiu-jitsu came from a wrestling background. I study under some of the best grappling coaches you can ask for, John Salter, Joe Selecki. So the jiu-jitsu is always increasing. And I don't know, man, I got the dog in me, of course. We could scrap it out, but nah, man, if you don't got to take too many unnecessary shots, then just wrestle. That's my strong point. And people always say, oh man, and why don't you stand and fight? Why don't you box? I'm dude, stop my takedowns, and then we'll show you what the hands look like. But path of least resistance, man. I'm gonna take you down and beat you up.
But it's also smart, though, in a way, ride the horse that got you there, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that's what your background is, if those are the things that give you an advantage over people, then why wouldn't you? You're a fool to not use those tools. Go to those tools, and if you happen to find your equivalent for grappling, then it's okay, now we can throw those hands in if we need to. So it's why would I go there unless I have to? It's all about fighting the fight on your terms and not reacting to your opponent. And And that's why for you, when I watch you fight, it's like, let's go for that takedown, baby. Like overhand right, let's go for that takedown without being predictable. But those are the things I want to see because those are the things I know that you're good at. Mm-hmm. And it's very funny because I feel like there are all these stereotypes about you. And I feel like there are a lot of people who just go off of the street fights. And it's very, very interesting to me. Like, even for me, it's like, oh, you're getting Baby Hulk on your show. Like, you think that guy's gonna like do well at the next level? And I'm like, well, have you seen him fight at the next level? Well, no, but I've seen the street beef stuff. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, bro, that was like 4 years ago, though. Like, he was like a 23, 24-year-old kid back then. Like, who? Like, have you stayed the same? Are you the same fighter from 4 or 5 years ago? No, then like, I don't get it, man. Like, you get a lot of shit, dude. I don't envy you.
I love it though, man. Like, of course, like, you know, people who don't follow me, they still ask, "Hey, are you coming back to Street Beats?" I'm like,
why?
I'm a pro now.
Like you don't have, yeah. Why would I do that?
No lie. Like at the last fight in Virginia, like a couple of like I had a pretty decent crowd. Like I have a good following in Virginia, and the older guy was like, "Hey, are you going to go back to the yard?" And I just laughed. But bro, I love those misconceptions, bro. Think what you want. Think that I'm a overhand right double leg wrestler, and that's all I got. And when I show you something different, you're gonna be surprised, probably looking up at the fucking lights. So I mean, let them think what they think until they step in that cage.
I think one of the most fascinating things about your story, like number one, you have like one of the stories out there that I think is so captivating to me, and it's you start fighting for literally no publicity. There's no money in this. It's just for entertainment, right? Like it's just for one of those things where it's like, yeah, fuck it, dude. Let's fucking scrap. Let's do this, right? Like you're doing it just for like just for the fun of it, and then it explodes overnight.
Yeah.
And then after the explosion happens because of YouTube, because of social media, all that other stuff, you get I'm sure it's divided. There are lots of people that are just so captivated by your story. They're like, wow, look at this guy. Like, you don't have to be 6 feet tall to be a fighter. Like, you don't have to look a certain way. You can ball or you can't. Like, none of that shit matters. Like, this isn't the NBA. Like, this isn't like the NFL where it's like, if you're not a 6 foot tall quarterback, like you are not going to be a quarterback in the NFL. Like, well, fighting is not like that. You don't have to have a certain body type. You don't have to have a certain height. Your reach doesn't matter. I think people look way too much into that stuff, right? It's like, well, Volkanovski, man, he's really short. I'm like, yeah, well, he fucks people up, so who cares?
Yeah.
Like, what difference does it make? And I'm captivated by that because I saw you fight, and I'm like, okay, if this guy's that little and he's fighting, like he's a killer. Like he's not getting in there to get crushed by some other dude. Like, I promise you, this guy's got to be a killer. And then sure shit, you were. So it's like, there's that one camp where I think it's a very inspiring and a very good message because it shows people like, hey man, it's not what you look like. It's not about your body type. It's about what's in here. Mm-hmm. That's what really matters. Then of course you have the haters out there too, because it's 2022, right? And we all have internet access. We all got to talk shit too and say a bunch of mean, hurtful shit. So, and I guess I don't quite understand that divide because when you also think about it, like you think of like Jorge Masvidal, you think of like Nate Diaz and all these other guys, or Kimbo Slice, like these street legends, like we love them, but we don't like you. I don't know why, dude. Like, why is that?
I don't know, man. Like it's like anything, man. Like people are gonna criticize it, like wherever it is or wherever it comes from. But I really focus more on the other side. Like you said, I get so many messages, bro. Like I never thought I could do it. I'm short. I get picked on. I got like no confidence, and I really love that. Like in the position I'm in, like I can kind of show people, hey, like you said, it doesn't really matter what you look like, your height or anything like that. You fucking go scrap. So I love that, and I kind of focus on that, kind of being. I know they say was Charles Barkley's famous quote, "I'm not a role model." I'm actually the exact opposite. I would love to be a role model for you, your kids, or anything like that, to prove like, dude, you could be a good dude. You can help out your community. You could be like a stand-up guy, and you could still go in there and fuck people up. Like,
yeah.
So I love being that for people. I love giving people a little bit of hope, like see me and them. So I love that shit for sure.
When you think about just what this MMA journey, what this fighting career, the trajectory it's put you on over the past 4 or 5 years, is there a story, like without like giving away names or anything like that? Are there some stories or exchanges that you've had with people, whether it be through social media, in person, where they tell you what kind of impact that you've made on their life, and you just sit back and you're like, oh, wow, like I had no like, wow, what do I even say to something like that? Do you have stories like that?
Oh, for sure, for sure. A lot of it is through like social media. Believe it or not, like I have a big like fan base of like younger kids
Mhm.
from early, like maybe like sixth, seventh grade up to like high school, early college type thing.
Okay.
So those are kind of like the prime like examples of, because when you're younger, less confidence, you're unsure of yourself in the world and everything. So I get so many messages be like, bro, like I got bullied and what can I do? And I'm always giving advice. I'm like, yo, if you want to kind of help out your life, definitely lifting, martial arts definitely helps with confidence and all that. So just having people say that I'm an inspiration to them, or I'm the reason why they went back to working out, I'm the reason why like they got confidence and want to take up martial arts. That shit, like it literally, like I'm a very humble person, and to
Mhm.
hear that I had an impact on people, like in I'm not super it's not super new to me. Like even when I wasn't doing sports like that, like I've always been like a go-getter, and like even in the gym, I would get it and people would like come up to me and be like, bro, like you're inspiring me, like you're getting it. So it's not new, but just to have somebody take time out of their day and message you or to tell you that you had any type of impact on their life, it definitely it humbles you, and it definitely gives me a deep appreciation for what I'm doing and the people that I'm able to help.
And just think about it, like you're just getting started and you have the platform that you have, and you have opportunities as you ascend in this world of MMA. You're going to have like these opportunities to like really do a lot of good, whatever that looks like, for whatever it is that you're passionate about. And I think that's like one of the things about MMA is like, okay, well, let's not talk about fighting for a second. It's like, what are you bringing to the table? Like, what could you do to like put something positive like back into your community? Like, what can you give back to the game? And I like to, like this podcast obviously isn't about me, but in my own small way, for me, that answer is like, well, I want to give back to. I don't think finances should like dictate whether you are going to try an MMA career or not. Like, it's sad to me that there are so many people I've talked to from all walks of life, from all around the world. It's like, well, my wife's pregnant with our second child. I work construction. I was in
Mhm.
jail for a little while. I lost my football scholarship. I work construction. Fell into fighting to keep me off the streets and to keep me from like getting into trouble. And I just like I found a knack for it. I never wrestled in high school. I never did jujitsu. And there's so many people out there that are like that. And how many of them, an untold number of people that have had to walk away because nobody was paying attention to them. Nobody was giving them publicity. Nobody was giving them any sort of financial support. So it's like, for this platform, I hope I can grow it one day where I could give back to those people where it's like,
Mhm.
dude, like, I know this isn't much, but this is all I got. But like, don't give up. Like, if anything, it's like maybe it's not even the money that even makes a difference. Let's say it's only $20. It's like, hey, David, here's my last $20, but take it. But it has nothing to do with that money. It's somebody's believing in you,
Mhm.
right? And that's like that's more powerful than any amount of money. In my opinion, it is
Oh,
just
definitely.
somebody saying that they believe in you and they want you to succeed. And it's sad that there aren't a lot of people out there that have that in their life.
That's You hit the nail on the head, man. Like that support, like, and people always think support comes like financially, but support comes in so many ways. And like just to say, hey, man, you're doing great, keep it up, can really kind of just keep people on the right track, not give up.
Yeah. And you know, it's one of those things about fighting. Like what you do is you put your body on the line for entertainment, but like you're also like putting your soul out there. Like
Yeah.
every single time you go out there and fight, you're putting your soul out there for everybody to see. And before we started, before we started the show, we were talking about like the mental game of MMA and why that's so important and why you have to have that locked in. You make your pro debut. You fought a really, really tough guy. His name is Shamel Fenley. And for people who don't know who that man is, all you need to know is he's a savage. Look him up on Tapology. He is one of the best flyweights in the country. There'll be more. We'll be hearing that name more and more as time goes on. But you fought this guy. You made your pro debut against this guy. This is like the toughest fight that you possibly could have had. It doesn't go your way. And like nobody envisions going into their professional debut fight and not having it not go their way. Mm-hmm. Like everyone dreams like, okay, I'm going to make that pro debut. I'm going to knock this dude out. I'm going to choke this guy out. 1-0, baby, on to the next, not a scratch on me.
Exactly.
Right? Like that's what we envisioned.
That's the only thing I was thinking.
Right? And like for you, it didn't work out that way. We drop our very first fight. And I think this is an opportunity for people out there, whether you're a professional, an amateur who just made an AMI debut and the fight didn't go your way. Like, it's how do you deal with that like first loss that I think really is going to define the trajectory of your career. It's how you respond from that first loss, from that first blemish. And so what was that experience like for you? Can you talk a little bit like about the adversity that you had to come out through having dropped that very first fight and that transitional period to your second fight?
Oh, definitely. So so this was like my first like pro loss, of course, but man, I've lost in the Amis. I've lost fucking a bunch in college. I've lost a bunch in high school. So it's a lesson you kind of learn to that like that. I feel like that's why I'm such a good competitor, because I know what it is to lose. I know what it is to come back and, dust yourself off. And the most important thing about losing is to learn that lesson. The only true loss is like, if you just take it for, hey, I lost, I can't get like, bro, like, honestly, I learned so much from that loss than like probably any of my wins. Like it was such an eye-opening experience. Like, yo, these guys aren't gonna come and lay down for you. Like they're coming to fight. There's levels to this. There's guys with different striking, different like backgrounds and everything. So it was really eye-opening for me. And like I was telling you off screen, bro, like I need to get my get back. So as soon as that shit was done, I put the cold peas and rice on my head, put down the swelling, and Monday I'm like, yo, coach, what do we got to do to beat the next motherfucker's ass? So as far as that, like I get down a little bit. Of course, I'm a competitor, but I have the best support system around me. Like I have the best training partners, the best coaches, a great family who really, if I stop fighting tomorrow, they wouldn't care. They love me for me. They're great people. So knowing that like that wins and losses don't mean I'm a change in their eyes is it's such a relief, man. So all the pressure I put on myself is the pressure I put on me. So when you got like a great back end and you got people who love you, a loss is not really a loss. It's just, something I got to learn from, and then we take it to the next one.
And I think that's what's so important. And like one of the questions that I ask is there, I talked to a fighter. I just wrote a story about him that'll be published actually on Thursday. I won't tell you all who it is, but I will say like he's on a 9-fight winning streak. And I'm like, bro, like, and he's like 25, 26. So I was like, okay. How do you stay so humble? How are you learning? How are you remaining coachable? I remember when I was your age. I remember being 25 years old, man. You couldn't tell me anything.
Yeah,
right.
I'll run the world.
Yeah, I run the world. I am invincible. Look how talented I am, man. Like nobody's on my level. 8-fight winning streak. I'm the fucking shit. And I asked him that. I was like, what is your response to that? Like, how do you stay humble? And he's like, I lost my professional debut, and I always go back to that fight, and it's never left my mind. Like that is like seared in my brain. And I remember that every single time that I think I'm getting too carried away, I'll go back and I'll watch that fight. Every time I go back, I watch that fight. And I always ask my coach, like in between our sparring rounds, or whether I'm in an actual fight in between rounds, or in the gym. It's like, don't tell me what I did good. I don't need to hear that. Like for him, he responds better to what am I not doing well? And I thought it was really refreshing to hear, because it's one of those things where he's like, I'm paraphrasing from him, but he basically said that, dude, like I live in the gym. That's where I live, right? Like I spend an untold number of hours in the gym. And he's like, we drill everything: striking, jujitsu, takedowns, takedown defense. He's like, this is a game that you could study your entire life and you're never going to master everything. And that was the other thing of it. He was just like, it's like playing chess. Like you can play it all day long for every minute, but he's like, you're still never going to like master it. And he's like, MMA is kind of like that too. He's like, I know, like what humbles me is like, no matter how gifted I am, no matter how athletic I am, he's like, there's no mastering MMA. There is no perfect fighter. Everybody's vulnerable somewhere. And I was just like, God damn, like that's some powerful shit. Right. And like, do you have like a similar mindset about just like MMA and like mastering MMA? Is there even such a thing in your mind?
Dude, honestly, and people always like, oh, how do you stay humble? How do you stay humble? If you're not getting humbled in the gym, then you need to go to a different gym. Because bro, I got some guys in my gym who, like, I got my my little brother who's like bigger than me, who gives me great rounds. My boy, shout out to my boy Juan Lopez. He just won his amateur belt this week. So I got really, really good guys, like high level wrestlers, and of course my coaches. So I'm never really, and I'm like the smallest guy in the gym. So I'm never like, even when I'm like, I'm beating up guys, they're like, oh, you're doing great. Like, dude, I could still get it from time to time. So it's not like I'm beating everybody's ass. And when you lose here and there in practice, like, fuck, why did I lose here? Let me go back. Let me drill this. Or why did I get caught in this submission? So really, like, the gym humbles you. Like if I was like killing everybody and never losing rounds, I would move on to a different gym where I would like get work. So the gym humbles me every day, and that kind of keeps your head not getting so big.
I think that is such a fascinating thing that you're talking about. I don't know. Do you know who Amun Kazmi is? He's a bantamweight, and he fought for NFC for a while. Anywho, he's in Georgia. He actually might be at your fight, but he fights for Icon now. And
he from he's not from Kaizen, is he?
No.
Okay,
no.
I was thinking somebody else.
But I was asking him this, and he was undefeated until his most recent bout. But I talked to him. He was on the podcast, and I was like, dude, you are freaking good. I was like, I told him, I was just like, I'm just blown away. You are so freaking good. And I asked him that same question. I was just like, talk to me about like being humble. Like, how are you staying coachable? He's like, dude, let me tell you something about fighting. He's like, I get my ass kicked every single day. You guys don't see that. He's like, I get choked out. I get my bell rung. Like, I like all kinds of shit happens. He's just like, here's the thing. He's like, I only have to be perfect for 15 minutes. And after that 15 minutes, guess what? I'm going back to the gym, and I'm going to train with like my UFC training partners, and they're going to choke me out. They're going to beat my ass. And that's what I have to go back home to. He's like, you think I'm good, and you say all these really nice things about me, and I appreciate that. But like, dude, like I'm getting my ass whipped every single day. And he's like, that's what keeps you humble.
I feel the exact same. Yo, I can say right now, my coach, Joe Selecki, I've been going there 2 years. We do wrestling Tuesdays and Thursdays every week. I have yet to take that man down. Yet. So it's very humbling. Like when I could take down everybody else and I get to Joe and he literally waxes me. And like at the end of 2 minutes, I'm like, Get around, Joe. He's tapping me on the stomach like, good job, buddy. Knowing like I couldn't do anything with him. So
Well, I tell you what, that's a Joe Selecki. I still don't think a lot of people know who that guy is. Yeah, he looked good though. He looked good when I last saw him.
They gonna find out soon.
Well, hopefully not too soon. But I because you know what, like, man, just tell Joe thank you very much. That guy he has been a little cash cow for me. Every single time that guy fights, I'm like, I'm like, I'm putting it on Joe Selecki because that guy is freaking good. I gotta give my hat off to him. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch in the UFC. Very talented, very gifted. Talk to me, David, about fight number 2. We righted a lot of wrongs in fight number 2. You go up to Virginia for your second fight, and like heading up to it, like how jacked were you? Like, was there pressure on your shoulders? Like, how were you like feeling? Because we dropped that first fight in the hole, back to the lab, back to the drawing board. Now you're getting ready for the second fight. Can you walk me through just kind of like what was going on in your mind at that point in time, and what was that experience like walking into the cage for your second professional bout?
So, like, believe it or not, I came into that second fight so confident because, dude, like after like kind of experiencing a loss and even a greater extent getting finished, like that was like when that happens, that's kind of like your greatest fear. Like I can't lose, I can't get. And now that happens, and it's like, okay, it wasn't so bad. Like I kind of know, like, and like granted, like I didn't get like separated from my consciousness, but I still got finished. So it's kind of like a relief in a little bit. And that training camp was just go, 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 go. And I really liked the matchup. Like stylistic wise, like I felt like I had it on like the feet, and I definitely knew I had like a good advantage on the ground. So I came into that second fight super confident. Virginia, I fought tons of times in Virginia, especially that's kind of like where the Street Beast area is. So I got like a good amount of like fan support and everything, and I know the area. So I was walking in there super confident, and just ready to like, I kind of like, people could call bullshit, but I visualized so much. And in the fight, I was like, I'm gonna do the Matt Hughes in this fight. Like I'm like, if I put him up against the cage, I'm gonna fucking like drive him to the other side. And it worked out like that within like the first like 25-30 seconds. So yeah, I was in a good headspace in that fight.
So you went in and like you did what you had to do to get your arm raised at the end of the night. So like you experienced in your first 2 fights like the absolute worst shit that could happen, which is like, okay, I get finished. So I asked out the hottest girl in the room. She said no to me right in my face, embarrassed me in front of all my friends. I went home, I licked my wounds. But then I asked a new girl out the next time, and it works for me. We go to the dance, and I took her to a nice coffee shop, and we'll end that story there. So
yeah, exactly.
So the fight goes your way. It couldn't be more different from the first one, because not only do you like assert your will, but like the fight doesn't even get out of the very first round. So like that moment of like joy, it probably felt like 2 seconds in there where it's like, bam, I went in there, I did what I needed to do. Like 4 minutes, that's a long ass time. But like, I'm sure when you're in the motions and going through it, like time is just,
it literally felt like 2 minutes. Like it felt so quick, and like, it's all kind of a blur. Like the main thing, like, and I'm weird when I'm in there, like, it's kind of just, like I always say, it's kind of like blips and flashes. Like it's kind of like all automatic. But when I locked in the choke and I was squeezing, I was like, in my head, I was like, this feels really deep. And like, I got a good squeeze, and I was like, he hasn't tapped out yet. So maybe I'm like not under his chin. So like a second goes by, I'm like, do I have to readjust it? And then I see his hand, and then it goes limp. I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, it's in.
Yeah, well, they better pull me off.
Yeah. I wasn't letting go. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna have to.
You're gonna have to stop it. So you get your arm raised at the end of the night. Like you travel up from North Carolina to Virginia, a successful business trip. And what's your Is it the same after, like, for you in terms of like what's next, what's next? Because like after the first fight, you're like, dude, like we got a lot of shit to work on. We need to go back to the lab. You did that. After the Armstrong fight, like, are you of this are you of a similar mindset, or is it a little bit different? Like, I can have a hot dog, I can have a beer and be a freaking normal human being for a day, and then I'll get back out there. Like, do you ever like, I don't want to use the word like reset, but like I do think it's important to like live life like a normal human being and go to Five Guys every once in a while. I know you can't normally do that type of stuff, but it's like, do you like allow yourself that sort of freedom, especially after a win like that?
So I think a good thing is I'm a workaholic for sure. And the good thing is everybody on my team is like that. If you see Joe after a major win, he's in the gym hitting the bag Monday with a blackout, or he's teaching jujitsu, or my boy Juan will win a fight and he'll get kind of dinged up. We'll be right back there on Monday. Like after I win this fight, I fully expect to be back on there, Monday, just kind of hanging out, being around the team and everything, doing something light. But I might give myself a week,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 3 or 4 days, and then I get that itch again, bro. Like I need to get back into training. Like I like having time off, but it's nothing compared to being like on the grind, being with
Yeah.
the guys, like doing our thing, helping them out, because everybody always has fights. We have a pretty big team, so I relax for like 3 or 4 days, maybe a week, and then it's right back to it. And me, I'm go. So after a fight, I'm like, when can we book another one? Like I'm trying to have
Yeah.
like 2 fights a month, a couple fights every other month. So yeah, I like to say real busy.
Is it one of those things like, or maybe you have in the past and I'm just ignorant and don't know, but like, do you grapple in between MMA matches at all?
Oh yeah, sweet. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. So I think it was right before the Shamel fight. I had a
Mm-hmm.
combat jujitsu match.
Oh, there
That
you
was
go.
super. Yeah, that was super fun. And then I think right like after the Armstrong fight, I think it's like last month or the month before that, my boy Joe Selecki has his own grappling promotion, All In Grappling. I had a super fight there. Yo, I had like 3, 4 guys pull out on me, like he literally had to find one guy like the day of and be like, hey, do you want to do it? And he said, yeah. I think he came from like Charlotte or something. Cool dude. We end up talking after the match. But yeah, man, I love competing, grappling, wrestling. Fuck, I might, if the matchup, sorry, I'll take a boxing or kickboxing match, man. I love to be active. And it's all like it all feeds into like the same thing. So me competing in that is only gonna, help me in MMA.
And I wish more. And I know it. I know a lot of y'all do it. I know a lot of y'all will like get your rolls in and all that other stuff in between fights. I just wish I heard of it more often,
Mhm.
because especially after like a, if you take like a really shitty loss, because it's like, dude, like get back out there, like go in a jujitsu tournament or something like that. Like just grapple for a little while. Like that way, like you're still active, you're still out there, and you're still like being competitive, but
Mhm.
in a different way. And I think that could be like a really good like reset. I think that's great for your mind. I really do. Because it's like, okay, like just you don't have to worry about getting kicked in the freaking face. Just worry about your
Yeah, right.
jujitsu today, right? I think there's something to be said
That's
for
it.
that.
It's very true. Like honestly, after Joe lost that super close fight with Gordon,
Mm-hmm.
he few months after he was in the ADC trials. So like we're all about that. Like we can't stay still. Like we love to compete, and this is what we do, man. This is our lives 24/7. We train, we recover, we push each other. Like this is what we do. So if this is what you do, man, you got to compete. You got to keep it going.
The very first fight, after the fight, you had to do something you've never done before, and that was go stand in line and get your paycheck. Tell me how like that had to have been pretty fucking cool. Was it not cool? Like
Yeah,
that had
I
to have
went to
been
the
cool.
yeah, I went to the back. I barely made it through the curtains. They were like, "Great job, buddy. Here you go." I'm like, "Oh shit!" like this for me. Like, swear on everything. It is so great. Like, of course, everybody's like, I would fight for free. Like, I do like fighting, but dude, getting compensated for it, I was like, oh shit, it was the best feeling, bro.
Like I
Best.
had to ask. So one of my friends, she just made her pro debut, and she forgot. Like she's like, oh okay, like like getting cleaned up, doing what she do, packing her duffel bag to get out of there. Like whoa, like hey, like you forgot. And she's like, oh
Yeah, right.
shit, I forgot that. Like for moi, like
Yeah. Oh, it's exactly like that. I was like, and especially because I went through both. When you get that second one, oh my god, it's not like getting that full check, boy. Because man, you're gonna be honest. Like when you go into a fight, you're thinking you're gonna win, so you already got that money mapped out. Yeah. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna put a little bit here. I'm gonna buy the new J's. I'm gonna do this. So when you lose, they're like, I got half of that. But yeah, when you get the full amount, I'm like, I can't wait to cash this bad boy.
So this is a topic I struggle with. Like when it comes to like how payment works in prize fight, well, in MMA, I shouldn't say prize fighting. Boxing's very different. For MMA, and we'll keep it simple. I think this is great content to hear. So if like you don't know about this, if you're just a fan of the sport and don't know how these guys get compensated, this will be strap in because it's wild. I'll use an example. How it will work in MMA is like I'll sign David and we'll use a UFC contract for an example. Big, hey man, 12,000. So what that means, you can show up, you got to make the weight, go walk in the cage. If you get blasted in 1 second, hey, you get $12,000. Thank you for playing. Appreciate you. Here's $12,000. That's how it works for the UFC. We'll talk about why that's not a lot of money in a second, but that's generally how it works. Now, if you were the guy that knocked David out, it's a $12,000 for showing up, and then it's another $12,000 for winning. So your 12,000 becomes 24,000. So that's very, very important. I don't think a lot of people understand how compensation works in MMA. So the question I have for you, now that you're a big old bad pro, and I could ask you this question, are you satisfied with like how we compensate MMA fighters, or are you more in favor of like flat purses? We see that more and more common at like in like boxing, for example, where it's like, hey, this is what we agreed to. So like win, lose, or draw, you're gonna get paid like X amount of dollars. Like what are your thoughts on like how we pay fighters?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm more of a flat fee type guy. Like just let them know what they're gonna be making when they leave. I really don't understand, like I guess like the thinking behind it used to be they're fight harder for the money. But bro, anybody that could tell you going into the cage, dude, you're fighting for your life. Like you're not fucking fighting for money. Like I'm not in there getting punched like, damn, I gotta get this $400 or $500. I'm like, bro, I'm fighting for my like fucking life. Like you're gonna try to win. So that really doesn't make sense, especially when both guys bring it. I think Justin Gaethje talked about it a bunch. Bro, like, could you imagine somebody like Justin Gaethje who brings it every time, so exciting, a fan favorite, and he doesn't get all his money because he doesn't lose, and he's only fighting like the top 5 guys in the world? Like, it doesn't make sense. He's very entertaining. Pay the man what he's worth. Like,
yeah, like don't you think it's wild? Like, okay, like this is a great example. Could you imagine like in the NFL where it's like, hey guys, we're docking 50% of your paycheck because you didn't win this week. It's like there would be like anarchy, dude. It would be anarchy.
You're a 3-10 team. You don't get shit. Like it's crazy. Like all the work's been done. You played the game or you fought the fight. Like you've done everything. Like in this a 2-man sport. Somebody's gonna win. Somebody's gonna lose.
I think it's interesting because like, is it really a bonus? If it's 50% of your paycheck, is that really a bonus? I don't think it is.
That's
so really,
right,
that's the other half of your check. So then the other thought process is like, well, if we're going to make it a bonus, let's just say it's a flat fee. So we'll use UFC contracts for example. Let's say it's 24 grand. A bonus then would be like, hey man, you knocked that guy out. Like here's your like $7,000 bonus. Like that's a bonus. Yeah. Like so it's like, win or show and then win, and then it's called like your win bonus. It's like, well, that's not really a bonus though, is it? Like, I don't think it is. It's the other half of
Not
your
a
check.
win bonus. I definitely agree on, like you said, like a performance bonus. Like if your performance was really good, if you got a finish, submission of the night, like knockout of the night, I agree, fight of the night, dude, that's awesome because it's like extra on top of what you get, but you don't get a win bonus. Like
like, and that's why, so it's kind of like a misnomer, right? Because it's like we talk about show and then we talk about win, and then it's like I don't know. I think it's kind of messed up. I do. I wish it were changed a little bit. And because here's the other argument for it. It's because so a judge makes a bad decision, I get effed out of a win, and now that's costing me 50% of my paycheck. And I only do this 3 or 4 times a year. And that's if I don't get hurt too much. Like, you're only going to get those MMA paychecks, like I said, 3 or 4 times a year. And like with judging being the way that it is, I've seen way too many terrible judges make very, very piss poor decisions at the UFC level. I know they exist everywhere, but I see it at that UFC level. I'm like, oh, great. Somebody just got freaking screwed out of 50% of their paycheck because we don't know how to judge properly. It's terrible.
It really is, man. Like, and the thing is, I like judging and everything, dude. It's no consequences for them. So yeah, you're like, oh, I effed up, bro. You don't have to answer for it. Nobody interviews you. Nobody like, hey, what happened with that? Like, nobody hears from these people. It's like, oh, that was a bad decision, and then 2 weeks later, it's like nobody really talking about it. So
well, if we watch enough fights, like the names become familiar, but like, do they ever like zoom in on that person? Like, hey,
I'm about to say, not to be like one of those guys, but what was it, Sal Diamato or whatever his name is? I'm like, bro, like, come on, like my man's been kind of wilding for a while. Like, it should be an investigation or something on him.
Well, I it's like, hey, you know what, like, I want to know who the judges are. They're like protected shadow figures. You wouldn't really know, and you kind of have to guess. Where it's like, okay, person sitting really close to the ring, and like they look pretty decent. They got a lanyard around. I figured out who the doc was. I'm like, that's probably a judge right there. And it's just kind of wild. It's like, to me, it's like, no, show yourself. Yeah. Like, I need to know who you are.
You only find out in the main event. Like, your judges for the night, main event. And then as soon as I hear, I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, this could go kind of left.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And it's just one of those things where it's like, man, I think judging is just so widely inconsistent. And when we do get some of those head scratchers, I do think there needs to be accountability to the system. Like, there needs to be, and if I'm talking out of turn, like, somebody comment on this. I know it's YouTube. I mean, Jesus Christ, that's an issue. That's an issue for another day.
Don't
but
go
like,
to the comments.
Yeah, if I'm wrong, I respectfully tell me. But like, there should be a review board. Like, there should be like, who's watching the watchers, right? And if you make some terrible ass decisions, like, you should not be able to like judge at the highest level of mixed martial arts. Like eventually it's like, you're that terrible and you're not like judging correctly based off of the right criteria, then it's like, yeah, I don't know.
If you remember two things. I don't know if you remember that one guy who fucked up a decision so bad that literally Dana White, like, I think he was like a local guy. He fucked it up so bad. He said, yo, you're done for like the rest of the event after he called that fight. He's like, yeah, we just told him like he was done for the night. That doesn't happen as much. Like, it's like one case of that, like, oh, see, they did, like, but bro, how many cases where like people should really be looked at for like the decisions they give out? And that guy was like super regional, of course. So it's like, hey, you won't make it to the next level. But what about the people who already make it to the next level who are still like making those BS decisions? And my other question is, I know as a wrestler, the new rules, like, you just can't lay on top of guys. You got to do damage. Damage is considered more than like control time now. How do you feel about that? And where do you kind of see that like changing, or what direction the sport's going in?
Well, for me, I want to know, I look at it this way. That's a very good question. For me, I don't really put too much of an emphasis on top control. And let me qualify that for a second. If you're laying on top of somebody and you're in their full guard, and if they're working off their back, they're putting jiu-jitsu on you, they're hunting for subs, and you're more or less just kind of in there doing just enough to not get stood up. I wouldn't necessarily like default go to the guy who has top control. Like, who is threatening more? Like, who? I have to qualify that though, because it's a bad look. If you're on your back for an entire round and you didn't get up, that's not a good look. But like, I think we need to like kind of figure out a different system for scoring, because the whole thing's kind of screwed up because we have like a boxing scoring system, but we're not boxing. So like the loser has to get a 9, or it's like, and like we're scoring based off of boxing, but like we're not. That's one element of MMA, but like we're not really judging based off of like grappling or jiu-jitsu. I know it says in the rules that we do, but do we?
And then it's like a criteria list of like, this is first, this is second, and if none of these things are good, then we kind of go to like control and like octagon aggression and all that. Honestly, bro, I like how one does it. I like how it's judged as a whole fight. It's kind of like, and that's how like fights on the, like, of course, like on the playground or wherever you are, like it's not, hey, this guy won the first 2 minutes and then got jacked up so he wins. I'm like, dude, it's like a whole fight. Like, how does it look as a whole? What's the story? Did you get damaged? Like, kind of like ebbs and flows.
You know what I think would be like really cool? If you want to like try to like fix judging, it could be, these judges are blind though in a way, because like they don't have all the stats or all the data that you and I have at home, right? Because like, and they always tell you that on the broadcast, like, oh, the judges, you know, they don't have any of this data. They don't know about control time. They don't know about like how many strikes are throwing.
Yeah, they don't see the stats.
But like, why not? So like, I'm not saying they should like have to hear the commentary. I don't want anyone to be biased, but it can't be that difficult, right? To like figure out a way to like provide them with the data. Like, hey, this guy had this much control time. Like, you should be able to like look at that data at the end of every round, and you should be given a little amount of time to like look at that data and then make a decision. Yeah. Like why is that bad? Why can't we do that? It's 2022. We can't do that. I think we can. Like, if we want to talk about like the judges being shitty and we need to do something to fix it, well, it's like, but we could also like rejigger the way like we give them information to help aid their decision, can't we? Like, I don't think it's that insane what I'm talking about. Now, don't get me wrong, I have no idea how that something like that would work, but like, if the USC is able to like seconds after a round ending tell me like, hey, this is how many strikes, this is how much control time it was, like, how come the judges can't get that? Like, they should be able to. Why? I don't understand the argument for keeping that from them. Do you? Yeah, like, I don't get that.
And they can't review stuff like the commentary team, because they'd be like, oh, we could see it, but the judges didn't see that. Or like they'll go back and be like, oh no, that didn't land. So it could look like it landed, but it didn't really land, and they don't get this information. They're just going off of like what they perceive.
And the other thing, like, here's a different thing is like, if you've never been to an MMA fight before, it's hard to see at times what's going on. It's very difficult. And it doesn't matter where you're sitting alongside the cage. The best view is on the TV on your couch. Like, you can sit cage side, but when you're in one of those big ass cages and like you're sitting there, and you could be like literally sitting where the doctors are sitting, and like you're still going to miss stuff. You're not going to see everything that's going on because it depends on where you're sitting at the cage. So what they've tried to do to compensate for that is spread the judges out. But here's the problem. If all the action's in one corner, a judge is going to see something a certain way. Exactly. The judge on the opposite corner is not going to know everything that's going on. He doesn't know if any of these, he doesn't know that a guy is working off of his back necessarily, because his view might be obstructed. So like, there's so many things that are going on where we complain about the judges, but we don't ever want to have a conversation about like, well, what could we do to make their job easier? that part of it's like we'll just get
Like,
better
no,
judges.
they just need to be better. They just
I'm
need to be
like,
better. That's the
right?
only answer. Be
Right?
better.
I'm just like, well, how though? Like, I think we need to ask ourselves that conversation or that question anyway. It's really important, and we have to talk about one final thing because I could talk to you about MMA until the day is long. You're fighting David Davant here at the end of the week. Now, this guy looks like a bad man. I'm excited for this fight. I think the fans are going to be lucky to watch a fight of this caliber. You're going up against a guy who was an undefeated amateur. Can you talk to me a little bit about how this opportunity to fight David Davant came about? Is this a guy you knew about in the past? Do you know much about this guy? Because he's kind of been out of the game for a little while. Now he's coming back into the fold, but he's got that undefeated AMI record. He's making his pro debut, and I know you want to. I know you're trying to spoil that party. I know you're trying to.
I'm trying to give him a little taste of what I had to experience for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but like you said, actually, I didn't know anything really about him because, like you said, he's been away. I think his last fight was like in 2017 or something like that. So I didn't really know of him. I got offered the fight and then kind of did my research. He fought for Conflict, which is in South Carolina, I believe. So a couple of the boys kind of got like a good indication on him. And he's also from Georgia. Mm-hmm. I got a couple of my boys at ATT Lima. So, mm-hmm. They kind of give me like the lowdown. But I checked his fights, man. Some solid competition. He fought Devin Nugent, who's pretty good. I think he fought for the belt something Harris or something. I've seen both of those fight. He's scrappy guy, vet in it. It just looks like he likes to throw down and is tough. But for me, man, like you see my history, man. I love a fucking challenge. Like, and to take that away for you to be like, because I was 4-1 as an AMI with 2 titles, so I know what it feels like. You be like, yo, I'm that guy, and you got a good head on your shoulders. So I hope he's been fucking training his ass off, honestly, over the years, and I'm just so prepared to show what I got against like top level competition. And the thing that I like, he seems durable. So I want to see how many shots of these he could take. Like, that's all what I'm about. Like, when people ask me what my style is, man, I put the fucking foot on the gas and you hang on for as long as, like Max Holloway said, bro, like, we on this ride, like, you can get off whenever you want, but like, that's just what it is, man. I put my fucking foot on the gas and I put pressure on these guys, and I'll give you a way out. I'll show you the door, and if you want to take it, you take it. But if he's durable like I think he is and could take these shots, I want to see how tough he is.
Well, that's got to be like kind of fun though, in a way, right? Like when you think about it, because like fighters fight, like so it's like, no, in my head, like there's gonna be this battle, we're gonna be bloody, it's gonna be fucking cool. Like that gets you up out of bed. Like that's what makes those miles worth running. Like it's like, okay, like all this adversity, like it's gonna be a freaking firefight. This guy is like getting me up out of bed every day. Like I want this best version of this guy that can possibly live. I hope he's ripped. I hope he's got a freaking 6-pack coming into this. That's the type of guy I want to fight, as opposed to somebody like me, because you popped me in the freaking belly one time, right, with a boxing glove, right? One shot with a boxing glove, one of those big bastards, and I'm like, I'm gonna go pee blood. Thank you for that. And like, like some scrub, the point I'm trying to make though is like, not everybody gets you out of bed every day, right? It's like, who is this guy? I don't want to keep fighting cans. It's like whipping my little brother's ass every single day. Like, I want a fight. And I think you got one here, man. Like, this guy looks tough. I think he's got that dad strength going on for him too. He's 35 years old.
That old guy strength too, man.
Like that it's the dad strength, man. You gotta watch out for that. Like, he might have a couple grays in that beard.
He got a couple grays, man. Like, and like you said, man, it excites me. But at the end of the day, man, like if I had to give an honest breakdown, like I said, I think he's a scrapper. I think he's tough. I'm such a student in the game. Like I watch anything I can kind of get my hands on. And I also got people who are very intelligent, high level competitors who kind of break down, and I get their opinions all the time. But he's a champ in his own right. So I think he's tough. I think
He has a little bit of pop on his shots. I've seen some wrestling. He has some decent wrestling. Seen him do a jiu-jitsu match, decent grappling. But man, everywhere that I think he's good at, I feel like I'm better. Like I'm a younger, stronger, more athletic. My wrestling's better. My grappling's better. I just feel like I'm on top of the world. And the biggest thing I have over this guy is just momentum. Like I feel like he's kind of had his time and he was, doing his thing then, but this is my time. Like I didn't take no fucking breaks. It's for sin. Like, and I feel like I've definitely faced way tougher competition. So I'm a hell of a fight to return back to. So
I give him credit for taking the fight. I really do. I mean, a 5-year layoff and coming up against a guy of your caliber. I'm gonna call him a veteran of the game. This will be his first time being a technical prize fighter, I guess we should say. But at 35, like you weren't born yesterday, you have a pretty good understanding of like how this game works. I'm sure he's done his homework on you as well. I think he knows exactly what he's getting into. I think he knows how much of a technical challenge that you are. So I give him even more credit for taking the fight because for people who haven't done their homework against you, I think you surprised a lot of people. It's like, oh shit, like I didn't know this guy was a freaking like this like baller wrestler type. I'm like, oh, then you should have done your damn homework then.
And I'll kind of like, I don't even know like if they do their homework or not, man. But dude, every fight, like, and especially you know this, young fighters as they come up, our styles are like constantly changing. I think I heard Trevor Whitman say like, a fighter really doesn't even know who they really are until like 10 pro fights in. So like, dude, my style is always changing, man. I'm a fucking sponge, bro. Like I've been working on everything, striking, grappling. Every day I'm like, oh man, like 3 months ago I was ass. Like 6 months ago I was trash. Like I'm like that version of me I would like destroy right now. So I'm constantly evolving. So even if these guys do their research, if you're watching Street Leagues fight, stop doing that. Like I'm not that guy. Even if you want to look at the Shamel fight, I'm not that guy. Like I'm different every time. So do your research, but man, I'm a different guy every time I walk in there.
Do your research. Then also one thing that I don't think another thing to consider though is think about how much the game has changed since you last fought. Like MMA is constantly evolving, it's constantly changing, and we hear, at least we have the past 3 years or so, but I think we're about to see another change, right? So like everyone talks about the calf kick and why that's so important in MMA, right? But I have a theory. I can't like don't say like, oh Tyler, you're such a genius, because it's not. I'm plagiarizing from somebody else who is an MMA coach and has UFC fighters. I won't say who it is because we'll protect the innocent here. But what he said was the calf kick is so impactful. It's because people are wearing shin guards all the time. So people aren't used to having to check kicks when they're sparring all the time. And it throws them for a loop. He's like, if you really want to fix that issue where calf kicks aren't as much of a thing, don't wear those pads. Like, I'm not saying go freaking crazy and try to freaking like kill each other, but also at the same time, it's like, you'll start checking those kicks better. Take those pads off. Those pads are hindering you.
Get your fucking legs out the way. Like,
right? He's like, watch, you get more fighters that start training without wearing those pads. You're going to see them check a hell of a lot better. You're going to see way more fucking broken legs from trying to go for that calf kick when it gets checked. He's like, you watch. Eventually, that will fade, because that, like, people are going to start picking up on that. People are going to start training without those pads. They're going to get better at checking the kicks, and someone's going to Weidman themselves again, and that'll be that. And you aren't going to see that. You're going to have to do there'll have to be a new thing. But he thinks the calf kick has a limited time because it's just really a matter of fighters getting better at checking. And for that reason, his theory is they'll get better at checking if they stop wearing the pads.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know if you've seen that video of Justin Gaethje kind of breaking down how he defends calf kicks, and even like Oliveira in that Gaethje fight. Bro, people like it's only new for like a finite amount of time, and then people troubleshoot that shit, and it's like, yo, how can we change it? So that little what is it? I call it like a little butt kick. You kind of
Mhm.
shoot your heel to your butt and kind of get out of the way. But
Mhm.
man, it's always these new like tricks or anything that's
Yeah.
hot. But like it's like an NFL team. Yeah, you might be the best offense this year, but people are gonna game plan for you, know what
Yep.
you like to do, and fucking put a stop to that shit.
Yeah, it like MMA is constantly evolving, it's constantly changing, right? And then you're gonna see things, hopefully, where it's like if you're the guy that got calf kicked like an entire 15 minutes, and like your next fight, like unless you're Nate Diaz and you just don't give a shit,
Yeah, right. Calf kicks don't
hypothetically,
work against me, bro.
right? Like hypothetically, like you're like, man, my legs are black and blue. Like I'm not getting kicked like that again. Like that shit ain't happening. Like I'm putting some new wrinkles into my game. It'll be really, really interesting to see. And I'm really interested to see you go out there. I want to see this new version of you. I want to see some hammer fists. I want to see some chokes. I want to see violence, man. And I know you'll deliver. I know you will. David, before I let you go, I want to give you a chance to shout out whoever you'd like to. I know you have a bunch of amazing teammates and a bunch of amazing sponsors that you need to talk about.
Okay, really appreciate that, Tyler. So shout out first the team, my boy Juan Lopez won his first amateur title. He was actually out for a year almost with a broken jaw, came back so strong. One of my best training partners, love that kid to death. My girl Stephanie Simon, she's a Marine boxer. She just placed second at a really big tournament. Shout out to her. My boy Jamie Pickett, Joe Selecki, my coach John Salter. Love all my guys in the gym. My Salty Dog, my Port City MMA, all my guys. The sponsors, you know, shout out to Happy Hippo, you know, HKA America, favorite sponsor apparel. Shout out to Street Beats, man, where I got my start. And just everybody that supports me, shoots me like all the emails, love it. Because I'm only at 22,000. I can still answer everybody's DM, but you know, when I get kind of bigger, it might, or maybe when I hand my social media off to somebody else, I can be like less personal. But right now, dude, I love the messages. I love that I could be one-on-one with my supporters and everything. And dude, it's a fucking crazy ride, man. Like I really think about it every day that I get to do the same sport as my coaches who I hold to like the highest levels. So just fucking enjoying this trip, gonna put some damage on this guy, come back, talk to you, and tell you how it went.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to that. And good luck on your fight. Looking forward to having you back. Ladies and gentlemen, David Baby Hulk Wilson.